GSL 시즌2 코데스.
We will now enter the losers match in tonight's GSL Code S. It's a Protoss versus Protoss, a fight to survive to our following match, our following best of 3 to face off against Ryung. 3 players remain. Only one is getting out of this group, Artosis.
Yes, indeed. And it's getting a little bit crazy right now. A lot of weird results in some of these games, like the Ghost Rush and all that. But going into this PvP, I think a lot of people look at it and rightfully say that Deer is a fantastic PvP player and probably should win. But back right up there, Billowy is a very good player. And if I had to give him a best matchup, I would say that it's PvP. This guy can be monstrous in this matchup. He has very good understanding of exactly what he needs to hold in situations. And if he thinks that he can't hold a base, he sacrifices it so quickly. He won't let a probe go to a natural that he can't defend. Like, he is extremely good. And recently in a Lima League, 85-2-0 Deer with fantastic play.
Deer, it's going to be an interesting year for this guy. It's kind of an odd story. We had Deer become a railroader long ago.
2013, I believe.
In esports years long ago.
Well, yeah, 2013. The 4 years ago, that's like 400 years in esports, okay? The Roman Empire was still around when Deer won.
All right, guys, let's go to game number 1. Billowy versus Deer. In the upper left, in the blue, he is
Billowy.
in the bottom right, in the red, he is
Deer.
And here we are.
PvP here. Obviously on a one-on-one map, there's a lot more crazy stuff you can do in a PvP.
Yeah,
a lot of very interesting strats. We might still see standard games as they try to feel out what the play styles are from each other. But PvP is actually an incredibly complex mirror matchup.
Yeah, there is
It's one of the best mirror matchups ever in RTS, I think. It's such a cool, the way it operates, the different techs you can do in the rushes as well as the macro and late game strats.
Yeah, actually, PvP in StarCraft 2, like, there are so... And this is, like, I guess more recently, especially in Legacy of the Void, because Colossus isn't just this, like, end-all unit in the matchup.
Yeah.
There are so many different compositions that are valid in this matchup that it's actually crazy. And like, you make these small changes to your unit comp that completely changes how it fights other unit comps. And it's just like, it is a great mirror matchup. I am definitely on board with that sentiment, Tasteless.
So we have the scouting probe here of
I'll
Billy.
sign that petition, Tasteless. It is
the petition to affirm that it is a great mirror matchup?
Yes.
Yes, we definitely
exactly
need that. So we have 2 stalkers on the way right now for Deer, as well as 2 stalkers here for Billowy. But more importantly, Billowy's probe is over here to make sure that there cannot be any Nexus planting. He does then rotate back inside. No, I'm sorry, he doesn't. I thought he was going to rotate back inside and check and see if there was any tech, but I guess it's more important in Billowy's eyes to keep the probe alive so he can check in later on.
And he knows that those are going to be 2 stalkers too. Adepts probably would have been out at that point. Looks like they'll expand it basically the same time. These are like really safe openers from both sides.
Yeah.
Going for 4 stalkers, you kind of hold on against every single thing that really occurs early on. It's nothing crazy at all.
Yeah, so nothing wild happening so far in the start of this PvP. We do have the Mothership Core headed northbound over here. The first Nexus, I'm sorry, it doesn't matter. They're making their Nexuses about the same time.
Sandwiches. So the Mothership Core going to just scout for him a little bit. No big deal here. Both of them getting sentries. That's going to be for some hallucination a little bit later on, possibly an attack, defense.
Oh, overextension
Ooh.
here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's bad. Or unless you're Deer, then it's great.
Yeah.
But nice job. And he even denies the scouting probe.
Now, looky here. A little bit of harassment on the cybernetic score.
Yeah. Where's
Have to
your
recall
cybernetic
that.
score and shields now? And he does go ahead and head back home.
Yeah, that was a solid scout, though, overall. Like, I think he saw the Twilight, right?
Actually, I need to check again.
I believe-
I didn't see where it was positioned.
I believe it is the case that he saw the Twilight. I think it was behind the natural, but either way, he's getting a Robo Deer is, so it's not exactly a counter Robo to Twilight, but it's Robo is good against Twilight.
Not a hard counter, but
Yeah.
it's a good tech advantage,
you
I
get
guess
some,
you could say.
You get some extra mortals if they're going quick blink, and the blink isn't really going to do anything if you're on top of yourself. And Billowy adds a Robo as well. So look at this.
They're going to
Kinda
kind of end
similar.
up in the same spot.
Yeah.
They've taken different paths to get there, but nothing too drastically different. We do see, for Billowy, Blink has started. But like I said, we could end up with roughly the same techs here. And what they're doing now might be a little bit inconsequential.
Yes, you're quite right about that. Like, you get blink a little bit quicker than your opponent. It probably isn't going to do anything because your opponent can just add some immortals, and then it doesn't matter that he has slower blink, generally speaking. Like, you can't really break the immortals anyways. So, like, obviously you want to be the player that gets a slightly quicker blink because you gain a bit of map control, but that's about it. Some scouting going on from both sides. Going to be sending Phoenixes over to, check what's going on.
When you have builds that are this similar, one of the things you want to keep an eye on, because it's one of the easier ways to decide who's going to end up ahead, is to check how much of the Robotech is surviving. And that's not just things like Warp Prisms and Immortals. That's Observers as well. You want to be very careful to not lose or hemorrhage any Immortals or Warp Prisms or anything for that matter, because a lot of times the guy that just has a lot more Immortals, if you're kind of doing the same stuff, you can usually end up way ahead.
Yeah, the Immortals are just such important units.
Can you imagine this game without Immortals? This game would be
No.
insane. I mean,
Game wouldn't even work.
it wouldn't even work. Yeah, the Immortal is like such a linchpin unit.
Yeah, it's so important to be able to stop certain sets of units and like just add some strength to the late game Protoss army. Third base coming up for Billowy, whereas Deer instead is going to go for. Well, I guess they're both going for thirds actually, but Deer is going for the quicker tech into disruptors. So going quicker disruptors doesn't always pay off. It's kind of fine if you have slower disruptors in your opponent. You can just go like double Robo Disruptor at that point, and you'll generally have a couple more Immortals. And everyone at this point is so good at the length of disruptor shots and disruptor cooldowns that it has become very hard to actually make disruptor shots connect.
Well, it's a funny thing. It's almost like what happened early on with the Ravager's Corrosive Bile, where it's like, and I think Corrosive Bile is much harder to make connect to anything. Corrosive Bile is almost like this. Corrosive Bile is like this. It's like invisible stasis is. Like, if you stay here, then you take damage. So we're going to force you to stay back. But the Disruptor, when you get two guys that are very good at PvP, it's like they can both chuck Disruptors shots out, and it just keeps the other player from ever getting too close.
Yeah. Very much so. It's like a zoning tool, whereas if your opponent overcommits or messes up, you really hurt them. But if you move very well with it, over time you can push into a player that moves less well with it, which is kind of a funny thing because you just kind of get to see who's better with them, and there's little tricks to it as well. And we see Deer is going to immediately go for those little tricks. Observer Speed allows you very much so to scout where your opponent is at, but he's also adding a Stargate. And oracles with tagging become the most important thing.
Yeah.
Because if you like just see where your opponent's disruptors are, you have the advantage.
Exactly. So this has been a pretty vanilla PvP so far.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not exactly these are builds you want to copy, but I think as far as like learning a lot in this game, this would be a tougher one for an inexperienced player to learn.
Yeah.
Where it's like, well, it doesn't seem like they're doing much when they're actually doing a lot. but they're matching each other so well so far.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. They both got these early sentries, and you keep seeing these fake Phoenixes fly in, and they keep checking each other. No one's being too greedy. Everyone's doing everything right. Like, Deer is taking, like, he's doing everything a little bit quicker, but that doesn't mean that he can go across and kill. Like, Billowy is staying close enough. Like, his Oracle is going to be a little bit later. He might be down one Oracle and stuff.
Okay, takes out that one.
But yeah, like, Deer is going to try because he does have the Oracle kind of spotting.
Deer's actually very good with his disruptor shots, by the way.
Yeah, he very much is.
Even at the start of Legacy of the Void, he was kind of on top of it more than almost anybody else. Disruptors have also caused PvP to be a matchup where you really can come back while being behind. Okay, here we go. Here we go! Oh, that was so good!
That's crazy. So the reason why this went terribly wrong for Deer, this type of thing almost never happens, is because he tagged the rest of the army, but the disruptors were kept far away on the side.
Exactly, yes.
And that came in, and suddenly Billowy has the lead. So there you go. It's kind of funny, but that's how it went down. By the way, double Stargate being added by Deer, he might go into Phoenixes. I don't think so. I think he'll go Void Rays because we don't have tech for carriers. I didn't see a fleet beacon.
I think
there's a fleet beacon. Okay.
Okay, never mind.
It was just, I guess he added it a bit late. Maybe he was a bit flustered from that attack. But Deer has to be a little bit more defensive now.
So to what we were talking about earlier, you want to be checking those robo units. Now, not a lot were killed, but the Immortals are badly bruised. So if the Immortals end up getting in a full-on fight against what Billowy has, those Immortals should be dying a little bit quicker, and that can snowball.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with the number of Stalkers these guys have, and Immortals being quite good against Stalkers as well.
Yeah, if he hits another Disruptor shot on him, in fact, they can just evaporate. By the way, do you remember way back in Heart of the Swarm where I used to have this thing I called the second forge timing? But it was actually when people went Tempest in PvP, because it's like the first time in Heart of the Swarm, the first time you realized your opponent couldn't kill you, added Forge. The second time you went into
Oh my
Tempest.
God, here we go, Artosis!
Oh my God, another huge shot.
Oh my God, that was perfect.
Wow.
That was so well done.
That was so well done.
Billowy is a ninja.
Yeah,
with these disruptors.
Deer is way off with these, just taking this many shots. Okay, that's a nice shot that he gets off. And now we get to see a little bit of this play back and forth. Deer has to give up the space, though. He can't keep it.
Yeah, he can keep chucking these disruptor shots here.
Oh, my God. These
Billowy is a disruptor whisperer.
Seriously.
Look at this. He's like just barreling in.
I can't even believe what I'm seeing here. Deer is just dying to this.
Billowy the Barbarian.
Billowy the Barbarian.
Yeah. He just
Barbally.
He just he just Hulk smashed him.
Yeah, he did.
Wow.
I must go. Oh, man. Okay, well.
Yeah, that's
there
it.
we have
All
it.
right,
The game is over. This is like, I feel bad for Deer because normally his PvP does not look like him just getting caught by disruptors nonstop, which is exactly what happened. And the thing is, he was actually ahead.
Yeah.
Like, he went into disruptors more quickly. He went into speed observers. He got his oracles more quickly. He was taking his bases with great timing. And he hit the thing I was trying to explain, the Artosis second forge moment thing that I used to do in Heart of the Swarm. When you realize, when you both have Blink Disruptor, and there's a little bit of dance in the middle, and you realize that you basically are just going to dance forever, you're supposed to go into carriers.
Yeah.
Like, you skimp as much as you can. Your opponent can't overcommit, because you have disruptors and you'll kill them if they do, and so you go into carriers. And he actually pulled the trigger on that more quickly. If Billowy hadn't gotten some great hits in there, Deer gets a carrier advantage and can push through and take that game. So, in a lot of ways, Deer played that game better. It's just he got hit by disruptors a bunch of times he wasn't supposed to.
It doesn't matter how well you're playing if you lose all your stuff, though.
Yeah, exactly.
And Billowy just synced up those disruptor shots, came in there and rolled that nerd. Deer's going to have to try to bounce back, but that's definitely a frustrating loss. Sometimes PvP can just come down to army control, man.
Yeah, absolutely it does.
In the bottom left, in the blue, he is
Billowy.
Those are too long. I got to talk during that now.
In the bottom right, in the red, he is.
Deer.
Again, he was really on top of his tech roots and a lot of things, but not preventing disruptors from destroying him. And the thing is, he was the one taking forward positions, which is, like, you really have to stay on top of it, especially then. Both of them were tagging, and Billowy was coming in from flanks. That's one of the tricks in these disruptor wars is you send disruptors into not random spots on the map, but, like, out-of-the-way spots. Sometimes you just have disruptors alone because you travel it basically as a death ball in PvP with this type of composition. So you can send a disruptor out and, like, just flank your opponent. Sometimes you'll even see a warp prism fly around and try to catch the army from behind, just places that you don't expect, that you don't have vision. You want those disruption shots to come out of. And it didn't go so extreme, but definitely Billowy was the one hitting those shots.
Let's see what happens this time around. So far, the builds are basically mirrored, but it's still very possible they could deviate from each other and go in completely different directions. That's one of the tricky things about PvP is that there are so many openers.
Yeah.
And you really can't just play with one style for too long. In PvP, people just start to play around it. So randomization of build orders is very important. PvP is a bit of a poker game in that regard.
Yeah, like sometimes you want to go for a faster expand. Sometimes you want to do a 4-gate or a 3-gate or something like that. The Oracle openers are very good. You don't even have to make disruptors. There are other builds. You can go like Charge, Archon, Immortal, Phoenix. There are air toss games and air toss openers. Europe uses quite a few different air toss openers. They haven't really found as much success or usage here, but definitely there are some very valid builds. But yeah, I mean, these guys could do whatever they want, and it looks like Deer this time is going to be mixing it up and going for a Stargate.
Yeah. We see a probe here. We don't see a Nexus just yet, whereas Billowy is going to be getting his expansion up first. Now, the fact that there's a tech to a Stargate means there's not a lot you can do to punish that Nexus immediately.
Yeah.
Stargate, you have to kind of build up to it. Sure, he could get like an Oracle and try to get some workers, but that's no guarantee that he's going to do anything.
Well, if there was a guy that wasn't going to lose many workers to an Oracle, it's probably Billowy. Like, he will keep his probes in his main base until he's pretty sure that you're not going to kill anything. In fact, one of the games he played against Deer previously in Alima League, like, he actually made a Stargate to make one Phoenix to chase the Oracles away, because he was not interested in losing any extra probes, just not at all. It was like a very weird thing to do in this matchup, though.
So that Oracle is coming out. It's going to be rallied over there. The Robo Bays are roughly timed out to be about the same here. Again, we can talk all day about the builds, but at some point in time we have to see how they actually end up engaging each other.
Yeah. Builds are only a part of the game, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Now we have a Void Ray coming out here. Let's see what this Oracle can do. The pylons are very well placed, so there's not a sweet spot that the Oracle can get in and necessarily get workers for free.
Yeah, you can force like a couple overcharges without too much hassle with this, so that's kind of nice. Oh,
very nicely done.
Yeah, and see,
Only
he's trying
shields there.
He's trying to bait that other one. Okay, there you go, and he gets away. That's actually like basically perfectly done by both sides.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty hard to not lose any HP on that Oracle. And as you could see back there, Billowy was very patient about not triggering the pylon cannons right away.
So you do it too quick. That's why we saw Deer dancing instead of actually hitting probes, because he's like, oh, do it and only get me with one hit, Like, that's what he's looking for.
We would initially see players, like, flip out and trigger all three pylons.
Yeah.
But people have gotten very good at it.
So Deer continuing to make some Void Rays here. He could go into an air toss style, but you can also just have some Void Rays in your composition, go for Immortals and stuff, and it's very, very strong. There's quite a few different things, basically, that he could do at this point. Throwing down a Stasis Ward right now, which is pretty cool as well. Blink on the way for Billowy.
And looks like this first Observer is going to get in here, but it should get...
You should be able to kill it.
Are you serious? Oh my God, that's the one that got away. In fact, I think he's confused about the location of it.
Forget Billowy. Let's call him Jukely.
Jukely?
Yeah, because you just juke
Jukes
that.
and jives?
Yeah, man. You shouldn't be playing Stark. You should be playing football.
I was actually about to be like,
An observer like
I was
that.
like, is that a Korean word I don't know?
Could be. Could be as well.
Yeah, maybe. So, the 2 Void Rays are now, they're still trying to find that observer that got away. I'm sorry, where is the observer now for Billowy?
I think it's up above his natural. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, there it
Look at
is.
that.
Okay.
Spotting the stasis ward, checking for a third base really is the main thing.
Billowy is really the macro guy this time around, always expanding ahead of his opponent.
Yeah. Well, he's going blank, right? So he kind of has the mobility, whereas right now for Deer, he has a really strong set of units. Having Void Ray Immortal, like from Billowy, we're going to have to see him probably go into like Adepts with Glaives from here and maybe Archons or something.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can go Storm against Void Rays, but if your opponent goes for Disruptors, you're going to be dead, so you have to be careful about that.
Templar Archives is almost done.
It's starting to look like from Deer, by the way, Tasteless.
Yeah.
That this might be like the European-style Sky Toss. It is a possibility.
Well, this is going to be fun.
He's got plus 1 attack. I
going to
don't
that.
think they do that.
We have one other pylon just hidden up here, up at the top. Right now, it is kind of funny to see that the expansions are in 2 different locations. This one over here for Billowy is much more like retracted from the center of the map.
Yeah.
It's pulled back.
Yeah.
It feels safe to expand here. Whereas the Expo here for Deer is out there in the open, but he's probably going to confidently be able to expand behind this. Now, this is interesting. Double Stargate up here at the top for Billowy.
That's super tricky.
I was wondering why he was putting that pylon up there, and I thought maybe he just like wants to see if there's like something flying around up there, but that's cool. He's hitting the tech really well, and this could definitely mislead Deer.
Yeah, this is a really cool way to play this game by Billowy. And I want to go back to what you're saying, by the way, about the expansions, because this is a great moment to kind of talk about the basic strategy of a game like this. The brute force comp right now is Deer's. So he can just take something close by. He cannot be just broken. Whereas Billowy, he has the more mobile composition, the one that can maybe counterattack or wants to whittle his opponent down as he comes across the map, and that's why he takes a further away one, so that the brute force comp would take longer to get to him and stuff like that. So very interesting and cool stuff.
Yeah, let's see when Deer decides to push, and if he ever spots those 2 Stargates up there. They're continuing to finish up their techs. Fleet Beacon now coming here for Billowy. A little bit of Adept harass. Nothing really too impactful. In fact, those Adepts don't even really pay for themselves back there.
And a lot of Phoenixes popping up. Quite
this
a few.
Could just blindside.
Yeah, this army is not good against Phoenixes.
I was... And the beauty of the strategy that Billowy's doing here is this game has looked so ordinary so far, you know?
Yeah.
And to switch tech super late and to know that Deer doesn't normally just attack into another player on 3 bases. He usually tries to get some kind of a definitive advantage, unless he gets enough disruptors. Then we've seen him experiment with that. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he just tries to take a 4th base of his own.
Yeah.
And then, bam, out of nowhere, Phoenixes come in there and kill everything.
Well, he's got this comp right now that kills Blinkstalkers, but there's not that many Blinkstalkers.
Yeah.
He can be forgiven for making these mistakes because he's been heavily scouting. He has an Oracle on the map, and he's been sending over hallucinations sometimes. But now he's going to be blindsided by these Phoenixes. And this gives a sick lead to Billowy, I think. Like this, I love where Billowy's at with these Phoenixes.
Billowy's so smart. Okay, check this out.
Oh, God, he's getting Mothership, too. That's so smart.
Oh, here we go. He's going to go for these Void Rays first. Picks up the Sentries as well.
Yeah, overcharges are like the anti-air.
Oh,
Look
wow,
at how
now he gets
little
those
there is.
Archons there. Now, the Archons can actually answer the Phoenixes if they can ever get underneath them. Okay, that picks up 1 Stalker. Style points there, puts it back down. Now, he did not get the Disruptors.
No, he did not get
But
those.
he can come in here later, and the Disruptors can't really adequately move with the army unless they're covered entirely by these Archons.
And there's not enough Archons to really do that, so when the battle occurs, he can easily pick up the Disruptors. And with the Mothership, you have to have detection. And with Phoenixes, if he has any detection of his own, the Observer dies instantly. So you might
And there's
actually,
only 1 in the army, too.
Yeah. Like, you can't really attack this Mothership easily. Like, you almost need a tag from an Oracle.
Okay. Now, he may just need to evacuate the probes. He might want to play it safe here. And he's going to do just that. So no probe kills there.
Yes.
He's going to sack the expansion in the hopes that he should have a perfect army balance later on. I'm sorry, where's the mother? Oh, there it is. There it is. Never mind.
Okay.
It's like the mothership herself answered that. She's
Yeah.
like, I'm here. I'm like, okay, sorry, just didn't see you.
Yeah, here he comes now with that. Now, this one observer means a lot. He's going to be able to lift up all of these disruptors as well.
Here we go.
This is a tough one, man. Look at that. The disruptors get lifted so easily with this many Phoenixes. And now he has this cloaked army to boot.
Now
Looks like the observer is somewhere, though.
Now he doesn't. Yeah, the observer is just here on the lower right, and there's no other observer with this, so I'm actually not clear. It looks like the ground army might just kill this.
Yeah,
And
the
for
ground
all
army
the,
is
all
winning
the cool
somewhat.
stylistic points that you can give here for Billowy, the raw strength of Deer has to be respected.
Well, if he had an observer in this army, he would have slaughtered what Deer had.
Yeah,
because
that's
he would have killed the
unfortunate.
observer.
We were very excited about that, but yeah, you got to kill the observer, or the mothership is not that useful.
Yeah. He had one observer that was just sitting in the middle everywhere, 100,000 Phoenixes flying there, not able to hit it. So Deer definitely picks up that victory, but the style points go more heavily towards Billowy.
That's right. Okay. Nicely done there by Deer. Billowy, a little bit more fancy footwork, but it's Deer that actually comes out on top. Tears right through his opponent. You can see this is a stressful moment for Billowy. He's a very good player, but he's hungry to get deeper in these individual leagues. And, you know, the CODES is the most prestigious tournament for StarCraft 2. So, I mean, this guy wants it, but, man, every player is just so good. The fact that Deer could be eliminated without winning a single best of 3 is a testament to how strong everybody is in the GSL CODES.
It's a very good point. Right now, the top 32 players in Korea are maddeningly good. You can see this out of Billowy, who has no results offline at all to speak of. And here he is. Like, he almost beat Yo, who got out in first place, and tied up 1-1 against Deer, a champion of the GSL.
We are going to game number 3. Our map is Daybreak. This is Billowy versus Deer. Oh, we are nowhere near ready. I'm sorry, guys. Our game's not even loaded.
You're like, GG, Deer beats Ryong 2-1. Like, what? What? This third game is not even done.
I thought we were ready, and then I looked over the preview screen, and there wasn't even somebody in the lobby yet. Okay, the game's loading up. Time for take 2. Something,
Can I
something,
trust you, though?
something.
Can I trust you this
GSL
time?
CODES.
You can never break me, will me, thrill me. You can never kill me, to me, sue me. Everybody do me, kick me, strike me. Don't you black and white.
In the bottom left, in the blue.
Billowy.
In the upper right, in the red.
Deer.
Cool game, that last one, at least.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
It was definitely fun seeing these kind of different tech paths pop up as well. The Immortal Void Ray into Disruptor tech. Definitely a very strong death ball he was making there.
This time around, both players just getting their gates and gases. We're still waiting to see what exactly the tech's going to be. We won't know until the core is done. We got 2 gates for both these guys.
You can take a little look-see at the gas income to try to have some guesses. Like right now, Billowy is getting a little bit quicker. Maybe he wants to go for something like a Stargate this time. Who knows? Just little tiny tells on how much they have on gas.
I'm really curious to see if Billowy can get out of this group. I feel like Ryung is in such good shape. He's so scary.
But those were both very tricky games, right?
But that's what makes him so scary. Is like we saw him, like for instance against Biel, mow down a Zerg.
Yeah.
I mean, just like get in there, just do so much damage so fast, things spiral out of control. And he had a good understanding on how to try to adapt. It didn't work out, but it's against Biel, so you can't really fault him for that. And then he did do those crazy strats. And he's basically, as far as the R2 Protoss players go, he's giving no information that they can actually use.
That's true. No information. Like, he is not going to do those builds again.
Yeah. What if he did that build again?
Just proxy Ghost Rush.
Proxy
it's like
Ghost.
unstoppable.
Yeah.
It's like he rushes his Zealot out to try to Go up there and kill off the SCV, making the ghost.
Suddenly
cabinet,
Reddit's just lobbying to get the ghost removed from the game.
Yeah.
Like, you can't stop this.
I lost this. I think
I lost this in Gold League.
Don't talk about how I can improve my play.
I understand the game perfectly. I just don't have time to play or be good at it.
Yeah. Well, some adepts coming out from Deer's side. And a very quick Twilight from Deer. That's so quick, in fact, that has to be a DT shrine.
Yeah, I think you're right. And the location that... Oh, my God. Is he going to scout? No, he's not.
Not quite. Luckily for Deer, probes don't leave foot tracks.
What if there was something that could leave footprints in the game?
Well,
The
the
adepts
infestors leave like a green line behind
Yeah.
them, right? But it's close enough
The
that you
Terran
see
comes
the-
and touches the slime. He's like, it's warm. He was just here.
Yeah.
Okay, Dark Shrine.
So, does Billowy make a Robo next? That's all that matters for Billowy right now. Oh, it's a Stargate. Decent chance he dies. Now, this is not necessarily death. Billowy definitely could have things like sentries to block the ramp. Maybe he loses a few probes. Of course, Stargate, you get some oracles out and stuff.
Yeah.
That's really good long-term stuff.
It's just going to depend on whether or not he's ready. This looks like it's going to be timed out perfectly to get these DTs in here. Right now, Billowy's like, guys, I'm playing a Protoss versus Protoss. And then Deer shows up. He's like, you're playing rock, paper, scissors. He tries to take him out this way. And let's see. Let's see what happens.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I just do that for the rest of
Just break you as a person. GG.
Look, he's making a Robo right now. Oh my God, he makes a Phoenix. I was going to say that he's going to have his Oracle popping out as the
Okay.
DTs are getting there, but it's not the case. It will be a Phoenix instead. Which means that if
Watch
you
this.
just
Watch he morphs it into an Archon, we're like, oh, okay.
that would
Okay.
be the most hilarious mistake.
There's only one way to lose this game.
He's morphing these
Make it into an Archon.
Makes them attack each other, and they both get the last swipe. It's like, wow.
Whoa. That's another way to do it. That's the hardest way to lose the game. Okay, two DTs.
Now you target that pylon and
So
or the
this is the
Robo.
part where you take your mouse and you right-click on the observer. So we're going to get a shot at Deer while this is happening.
Oh my God.
Oh my God!
He's gonna get it.
Oh my God! He's gonna get it out.
Sickest ever.
Oh!
Okay, so I have to.
Taking out the DT Russian scum. Look at this.
I do have to speak.
Actually, the DTs are still doing a lot of kills. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, there was some serious greed here, though, by Deer. If you target the pylon, 100% of the time you kill that before the observer's out. He targeted the Robo. If you kill the Robo, the game is over. Your opponent leaves the game, it ends. If you kill the pylon, I feel like you're far enough ahead. You're going to get so many kills anyways that, like, even if they end up not dying to the DT rush, you're good. But it seems like Deer was a bit greedy there.
I can't believe how perfectly Billowy handled that. That was, like, beautiful. If you do not click perfectly and have everything lined up, you will lose immediately. So that was like immaculate. That was so well done.
He took surface area off of the Robo with the probe surround,
Yeah.
and then the force fields were able to actually deny DTs for certain amounts of time.
He made sure that everything was set up absolutely perfectly.
Yeah, it was good crisis management, no question. Don't even ask, just know.
Well, this is a kind of a heartbreaking moment here for Deer. Now, it's not like Deer has lost the game or anything, guys,
Yeah,
but it's
he's
just
not dead.
when you invest in DTs, you basically have to do like a ton of damage.
Yeah.
Or because they're not easy to incorporate later on. It's not like if you get a Robo Bay, like Immortals are fine. You're getting Warp Prism. That's always handy at any point in time in the game.
Look at this. This wall-in that Billowy's making, this is why I really love Billowy's play. Look how flexible he is right now. He's made a wall at the front because he's getting better tech units.
Yeah.
All he needs to do right now is live for a little bit.
Yeah.
Live until his tech starts really paying off.
It's pretty beautiful. He just knows there's not that many ways that Deer can take him out. Now, here's one thing Deer can do. He's going to shade in here. This may cause the ramp to be vulnerable, but look, Billowy's maintaining composure. He's just picking up individually each adept.
He wants to draw him out here.
Yeah. Now Deer's trying to fish him out.
Yeah, he still has the mothership core here, so that's what's really important to push everything back. More gates are finishing.
That's right.
There's more Stalkers being added in, but more Immortals are being made as well.
So this move here by Deer, he's trying to engineer an advantage here. Billowy's handling it pretty well, but he could fall apart. It's definitely possible for things to go wrong here still for Billowy, but it seems like I think he overextended there.
You're definitely right about that. Losing that Immortal might be like the move that allows Deer to snowball this out of control. You really need more damage against this huge amount of Stalkers than he has. He's going to have one more overcharge. Sure, he has some lifts, but he really needed to keep that Immortal alive. He chased way too far.
As the longer this game goes on, the better position Billowy's going to be in. Deer has to do something. It would still be an uphill fight. It doesn't mean that Deer just necessarily loses no matter what, but
I think Deer's going to kill him.
Yeah,
like,
I think Deer just might have enough.
Yeah.
And this goes back to that overextension there where he lost that Immortal. You need the Immortals.
Yeah, it's definitely part of it there. Oh my God, another Immortal pops out. He's starting to lift some of these units. He gets the Archon. That's very important as well. No more overcharges are left, though. A Void Ray pops out. Can he do it? Can he actually hold on?
The Void Ray's soaking damage. The Immortal's still hitting all these Stalkers. He's targeting that one Immortal. It does shuffle back. He's just barely holding on.
Some great micro indeed. More Adepts filing up right now.
He needs more things to warp in. He might need to pull probes. No! I think Deer's done it.
I think you're right, Tasteless.
Wow.
Deer is looking like he might eliminate Billowy here.
Deer just gets this matchup too well. GG! Deer is moving on to our final best of 3 to fight Ryung.
Yeah, that was very well done. Billowy chased too far. With that additional few units that he lost when he did that one chase, Tasteless,
yeah,
I think he might just barely hold that. Maybe he just barely gets broken as well, but like that definitely was an important factor in that game. So, you know what? Billowy played really well tonight. He went 1-2 against Biel. He went 1-2 against Deer. I hope this guy does not lose his motivation or anything by these, twice in a row. He's in the round of 32. Almost kills really fantastic players and then loses. He's on the edge, man. He is going to be one of the best Protosses in the world. It's coming.
We'll have to wait till the next season.
Right now, somewhere Roddy's just laughing his ass off. He always makes fun of how much I like Billowy.
I know he does that. We're going to a short break, but don't go away. Up next is Ryung versus Deer at the GSL Codex.